Hello and welcome to Namaste Thunder Bay. I'm Kelly Rooney and I am at La Luna Wellness Studio, and I have a special guest today. I am with Mel Bergeron, co-owner of La Luna Studio and also a breathing enthusiast.
Yes. Yes.
Obviously, when people hear about yoga, they go, oh, and the breathing.
Yeah.
So this is a beautiful thing for us to connect in our yoga practices, our breath work.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't realize how much you forget to breathe and how much we forget to breathe in everyday life. We just kind of let our body breathe for us and don't worry about it. But yeah, it's actually when you start controlling the breath and consciously breathe where all the magic happens.
Now we have 25 minutes to work on breath practice, so if there's anything that you want to share to talk about at first, feel free. Otherwise, I am here to be guided by you as a breath enthusiast.
Awesome. So we're just going to kind of jump right into it.
Okay.
You're welcome to sit on the floor if you have a chair you would like to sit on, if the floor does not work for you, on your couch. And you're also welcome to lie down and breathe. Just make sure you don't fall asleep because we're going to get really relaxed. But yeah, we're just going to jump right into it. We're all going to close our eyes and we're just going to start by tuning into the breath. So we're not changing anything about the breath. We're just observing the body breathing for us. So we're just watching the breath come and go. In through the nose or the mouth. How does your body like to breathe? Feeling the cool air on the way in. And following the breath down wherever it's going. Is your breath stopping in your chest? Or are you sending that breath down into the belly? We're just observing. Just releasing expectation on the way you think you should be breathing, releasing judgment on how you're breathing. We've been so unconscious of the breath all of our lives. Our bodies just developed different breathing patterns for us. So we're just watching. Our breath can tell a lot about how we've been feeling, what we're doing. The breath is the one system in the body that is both conscious and unconscious. And we're given that capability because it's the breath that actually has a positive effect on all the other systems in the body. So if you think of the breath as this main wheel turning, and all the other systems are connected to it. So if our breath is short and shallow, all of the other systems are going to be impacted in a negative way. If our breath is full and free, then all the other systems are affected in a positive way. So we're just watching the breath, bringing focus to your body, noticing anything going on in your body. Are you creating tension or tightness in the shoulders or the neck or the jaw as you inhale? Are you using all these different muscles to bring the breath in? Are you pushing the breath out on the exhale? So breath awareness is the first step in developing a relationship with the breath. You're just getting to know it. It's been a while since we paid attention to our breath. So our bodies put in these different breathing patterns, holding patterns. So when we start to control the breath and consciously breathe, part of our brain lights up that's not normally lit up when we just let the body breathe for us. And it's when we start controlling the breath and consciously breathing that we can start reprogramming all of these bad habits. It's just like going to the gym and working out. You have to train your body, just like you have to train your breath and develop new healthy breathing patterns. So feeling the breath come and go. Every state we're in also has a corresponding breathing pattern. When we're nice and relaxed, our breath is nice and slow, has a nice rhythm. If we're having anxiety or stressed or panicking, our breath is usually short and shallow and up in our chest. So just like each state has a breathing pattern, or each state affects our breath, it works both ways. So we can change our breath to change what state we're in. And once we start acting on that in everyday situations, our body will again automatically jump on that, and it'll just become an automatic response. So we're going to start taking control of the breath. So we're going to actively inhale, and as we exhale, relaxing and releasing. And you can breathe through your nose or your mouth. Consciously breathing. And this is where you can play with the breath. You can play with the pace. You can play with the depth. So you can bring that breath into the chest. You can bring it down into the belly. So as we actively inhale, we're expanding, opening and expanding. And as we exhale, relaxing and releasing. Opening and expanding on the inhale, and relaxing and letting go on the exhale. We're not just letting go of the breath, we're letting go of any muscle tension we're holding. Releasing the shoulders, the neck, the jaw. So when we take our next inhale, we're keeping all of those muscles nice and relaxed. We're using the diaphragm to pull that breath in and letting it go, letting the breath release. So there is a space in our brain that measures the quality of every breath. So when our breath is short and shallow, if we're stressed and anxious, it sends a signal to our brain that something's wrong. So our brain automatically triggers us into the sympathetic nervous state, so our fight or flight mode. So we're constantly on, like we're in danger. And our body can't survive in that state for too long. Otherwise, we're going to crash. So if you're going through everyday life with that short, shallow breath, you're not giving your body that chance to just relax and release. But if we consciously breathe and bring that breath in nice and slow and steady, it signals the brain that everything's okay, everything's good. And the brain will automatically put you in the parasympathetic nervous state. The restful state, the rest and digest. So on our next inhale, we're gonna bring that breath all the way down into the belly. You're welcome to place your hand on your belly. Just feeling the belly naturally expanding. Feeling those organs naturally push out. Every time we inhale and send that breath down, the diaphragm's pushing down on all your organs, giving them a little bit of massage, which is always good. So breathing down into the belly. This is how we naturally learn to breathe. If you ever watch a baby breathe, they breathe all the way down into their belly. The chest breath isn't something we learn until later in life. So if you ever want to relax, breathe low and slow. So bringing that breath down nice and low. Breathing down into the belly also forces that air to get down into the lower part of our lungs. And it's the lower part of our lungs that actually do most of the exchange of gases. So actually taking in more oxygen if we're bringing that air nice and low. So sending that breath all the way down to the belly, naturally opening and expanding, and exhale, letting the belly soften. Letting that exhale release. And not just the air, but releasing anything that no longer serves you. So the next inhale, we're going to bring up into our chest. So you're welcome to bring your hand up to your chest. So we're inhaling into our chest, into our heart space. And as you exhale, letting the chest fall. Opening and expanding, front to back, side to side. And not using any additional muscles, so we're not tightening the neck and the jaw as we inhale, trying to get that breath up into the chest. We're letting it expand naturally. If it gets to a certain point where you're breathing into your chest and you can't help but tense the muscles, find that space that feels good to breathe into, and just stop there and exhale and release a little bit more. Inhaling into that space, and exhale, relax even more. When you get to a point where you can't expand, where again you're adding extra muscle tension or something hurts or doesn't feel right, again, just stop in that space. Be aware of where you're feeling that sensation. And when you get to that space, we do what we like to call the butterfly breath. So finding that space, taking little inhales and relaxing on the exhale. And slowly and gently making that inhale a little bit bigger each time, and working with your body. We're just being gentle with our body, being patient. Again, we've gone through our entire life, so our body's just breathing for us. So in everyday life, we don't just breathe into our belly or our chest. We don't just do one at a time. We use our belly and our chest breathing for different reasons. So as much as we don't want to breathe up into our chest all the time, we do need to be able to when we're doing something physically demanding, taking air in more quickly, breathing into the chest and being able to breathe into the chest really helps. And enjoying that breath as you're bringing it in. So we're going to bring these spaces together. So we're going to place one hand on our belly and one hand on our chest. So on our next inhale, we're going to bring the breath all the way down into the belly. When the belly's full, working that breath up into the chest, up into the collarbones, and a nice exhale out your mouth. Into the belly, up into the chest, up into the collarbones, and nice cleansing exhale. And doing a few more nice cleansing full breaths at your own speed. Might be a little bit faster, a little bit slower. You can play with the speed of your breath. If you're not normally breathing very slow, you can speed up the breath. If you normally breathe fast, maybe try slowing it down a little bit. Staying with the full breaths, we're going to bring our hands back down to our knees. Taking nice, deep, full breaths. Our body naturally takes a deep breath about once every 5 minutes. Just to make sure we're using our lower part of our lungs, utilizing our entire breathing system. Even if we don't realize we're taking a deep breath, our body's just going to do it for us anyway. So next time you notice your body taking a big, nice, deep breath for you, maybe follow it with another deep, conscious breath. It's just a survival instinct our body has put in place for us. Making sure we're getting enough oxygen. Oxygen serves our body in so many different ways. Gives us energy. Reduces stress, anxiety. Replenishes our cells. Our muscles. Helps burn fat. And the list just goes on. So just feeling the breath move inside you. What kind of spaces is the breath taking up? What kind of spaces are you now breathing into that you weren't before? So as we consciously breathe, our body automatically going into that parasympathetic nervous state. And the more we consciously put ourselves in that state, the more our bodies will naturally be in that state, especially going into different situations. Our body will naturally come into that situation in a relaxed state. And we're going to come up with more of a response rather than a reaction. So always just taking a deep breath. We're going to come into one of my favorite breathing techniques. It's called the box breath. So it's exactly what the name is. The box breath is setting a certain count. So we're going to start with maybe a count of 3. And we're inhaling for that count of 3, pausing at the top for that same count, exhaling for that count of 3, and pausing at the bottom for that same count. So we're going to start with a 3. Find where your body's at. You might have to drop down to a 2, or you might want to extend it to a 4. Just finding what counts are working for you. So when we're pausing at the top, it's just a pause. We're not holding, so we're not tensing any muscles as we're trying to hold that breath in. Just a comfortable, relaxed pause. And this is one of my favorite breaths because what it does is it contains our energy. So anything we're feeling, if we're excited, nervous, anxious, in fear, if we are going into a certain situation, if we have to talk to someone about something, confront someone about something, it's just containing that energy, taking it from our extremities and letting our body utilize it in a more productive way. So just being in those comfortable pauses. And our body naturally has a pause at the bottom. And that pause at the bottom actually allows our body to absorb more oxygen. That buildup of carbon dioxide dilates everything, allowing for more oxygen to be absorbed. So again, placing you in a more relaxed state. And this box breath can easily be turned into a triangle breath. So we're just taking out the pause at the top. So the inhale is directly connecting to the exhale with a nice natural pause at the bottom. Inhaling for that comfortable count. Exhaling for that same count. And nice pause at the bottom. Before coming into your next inhale. And then eventually we work on extending these numbers, making each breath even longer. So this breath is a nice breath to help you come down from something. gets you more into a relaxed state. So resting breath. So we're going to come into one more big cleansing breath. So we're going to bring that breath all the way down into the belly. Expanding the belly when the belly's full, bringing it up into the chest, up into the collarbones. A nice exhale out your mouth. And one more. And gently and gracefully letting go of the breath. And we're going to give the breath back to our body. And coming back to our breath awareness. Noticing how our body's breathing for us. Maybe noticing extra space. Noticing that air come and go more easily. Are you breathing more with ease? Just taking time to drop in and notice how that breath is feeling in your body.
That was a gorgeous breath practice.
Thank
It
you.
happens to be my favorite practice too, the box breath.
Oh,
and one of the
yes.
visualizations that I was taught that I love is the idea that you can attach the seasons to the breath. So the inhale is the spring, the hold at the top is the summer,
that's
the exhale is the fall,
wonderful.
and the hold at the end is the winter.
I love that.
Yeah, it's beautiful when you hold that for a long practice. You can have a beautiful visualization to go with
Yeah.
it. Well, we have to wrap up. That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Mel.
You're
and thank you for
welcome.
joining us. Namaste, Thunder Bay.
Namaste.